Good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. So, we are now going to be going live with a Photoshop artist, editor, and Photoshops a lot of these photos in her career, gives courses. So, Simone is here. Hi, Simone. Just sending you the invitation. There.
Hi,
Simone, hey, how are you?
good. How are you?
Good, good. All is well. Thank you so much for coming on this live, joining me today. I mean, I can't see half of your face. Is it like that or okay? So yeah, I mean, thank you so much for coming on here, joining me today on this live to share the knowledge in what you do in terms of your professional career as a Photoshop artist. Am I right? Photoshop editor, right? Um, and sharing that knowledge with us today of what you do and also spreading positivity at the same time. Yeah, someone just commented big hair. So yeah, amazing. Um, Before we move forward with the conversation, Simone, if you can introduce yourself as to who you are and what is it exactly you do in your professional career. I mean, I
Okay.
touched upon it, but please.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Simone Seven. I'm a professional photographer and a Photoshop instructor. Wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm here, and I'm also all the way based in Atlanta, Georgia, here in America. And basically, I love to take self portraits. If you go on my page, you'll see a lot, Disney princess
Of
transformations.
course, I mean I've seen all of them and they're
You'll really
fabulous. I
be
mean, do you
transformed.
create that yourself? All of that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those things literally take me 8 hours to do. Yeah.
Seriously. And I'm sure, I mean, the hairstyle that you have on some of them, it's quite
Uh,
funky, quite quirky. It's like pretty good. Um, so before we get the conversation going, I mean, I want to take you into your teenage years while you were growing up, going to school, college, all that stuff, sort of stuff. Did you always think or aspire to be what you are today, or did you have other careers in mind? Like, when we grow up, we're like thinking, okay, I want to be a doctor or lawyer or a financial analyst or actor or whatever it is. I mean, what is it that you wanted to do?
well, to be honest, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be the boss. It really didn't matter what it was. I
Okay,
just knew that I wanted to be first and I wanted to be in charge. So I
okay,
really wanted to, run my own company. I've grown up with like entrepreneurs in my family. So I've always known that really owning my own business was probably going to be the way for me. I didn't want to accept it at first, so I did try to go the traditional route. So I was in school for medicine. At first, I wanted to be a neurologist, and then I was like, 12
wow,
years.
neurologist.
So let me go to school for nurse anesthetist. So basically, giving anesthesia. That's what I was going to school for. But once I found the path that I'm on now, it's just no other lifestyle for me. Like this is my calling, and I'm just so happy being able to teach other entrepreneurs, and like I'm the entrepreneur of the entrepreneurs, so to say. So I really love that.
That's a real big statement. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like from a neurologist to being a Photoshop
Mm-hmm.
editor, artist, of how you do it. I mean, what is it that sort of went that way during your career that you chose to become, you chose to basically, it's graphic designing, right? You're doing different kinds of graphic designing, portraying yourself, other, like for example, Disney, So why did you come across that path? I mean, neurologist,
Yeah.
100%. That's an amazing career to have. You're playing with people's brains. I mean, that's an artist thing too. But why the transition?
So for me, I've always seen people do both creativity and both medicine. For example, my mom, she's right now, when I was growing up, she was an ER nurse, but now
Okay.
she's an administrator of a hospital. So
Okay.
I've seen her do that, but she's also for the entire duration of my life and for 30 plus years had her own hair salon. So I've really been able to see that creativity and the traditional thing play out in both in their own ways. So for me, how I started was actually in that salon. So I would do all the answering of the phones, do the bookkeeping, just client things, customer service. So
Is
from
that where you got the inspiration to have
mhm.
different hairstyles?
Yeah, so that's where all of this comes. So that ended up that helped me a lot because I'm able to do my own hair, my own makeup. I'm able to really be very self-sufficient because of that experience. And then we decided because I wanted to move from Florida because I'm from Florida originally,
Okay.
from around Tampa Bay area. So I really wanted to move to Atlanta, Georgia, where I am now. And
Okay.
to be able to fund that relocation, I mean, that's 400 miles away. So I really needed to like come up with some money because I wanted to go, of course, to like medical school. So we actually opened a seafood restaurant right in the hair salon, like on the back of the hair salon. So I had to do all the social media, all of the promotions. I had to take photos for the very first time. It was such
And
a
this is
crazy.
to fund your medicine career that you wanted to pursue.
Yeah, so
Okay.
before I even graduated high school, I was trying to, be able to fund my education. So it was just,
Wow.
hey, we need to like sell the seafood, get all the money we can because I want to go to the private school. Like I didn't want to go to just a regular university. So I was like, ooh,
Okay.
that is a lot. So we had to come up with the money. So we ended up selling the seafood. It worked out so, so well because we sold out of seafood every single day. And it was such a wild success that we never could have imagined. So just then and picking up that experience, I was able to not only learn a new skill, which was photography, I was also able to really fund my trip to Atlanta.
And
And
that is
then,
what you then pursued.
yeah, so once I got to Atlanta, I was really going on a traditional path, as I said, but I found myself feeling like there was something missing. Like I
Okay.
wanted to make my parents proud. I wanted, they're very tough on me growing up. I had to make straight A's in school. Like a B was considered a F in my household.
And
So
I'm sure they must be used to the fact that because you had pursued medicine and you wanted to be a neurologist, did they know about that? That
yeah,
you wanted to?
they
So I
always
mean,
knew.
they would have been on your side the whole way through it. And
Right.
then when you must have said to them that, look, this is now changing. How was that?
That was a shock. It was more so a shock for me than a shock for them because they always knew that I was the creative in the household. They always knew
Yeah.
that I was a gift, but everybody else was just so straight and narrow. Like my mom worked in medicine, my brother is an engineer, my
Wow.
dad was also like a high supervisor at a company.
Yeah.
So I was the oddball. So they were just like, this is her, and we can't
So
change.
all their artistic qualities came into you, right? And that's
Yeah,
how
I got
this
lucky.
started. Okay.
All of those came into me, and they were just like, as long as you can be successful, as long as you can make money, it doesn't matter. It
Is
really
that
doesn't.
the end goal?
Yeah. So for me, actually, being able to put my message out, which if you can tell by my profile, my message is so much about representation. It's so much about people being self-sufficient.
I've
So
seen the posts that you do. You put the
that,
Disney post first so that someone, I mean, the way I see it is like someone would get attracted to that post. And then once you're attracted and then you see the other photos that are after it and you see the message coming across, talk about it. Why that message? I mean, what's behind it?
so it all goes back into my own foundation of my mom. She was really such an inspiration for me growing up. She was always that way. Like we had a lot of the pictures that I do now. We had a lot of, artistic art like that in our house. So I really grew up around that. And I had such, I don't want to say high expectations, but I had such a great points of references of what that actually looked like and what it means to do that type of art well and know the impact that it had on me. Like I had like such a high self-esteem growing up. I was really able to, take initiative and do the things that I really wanted just
Yeah.
because I see that growing up. So I really wanted to take my experience that I had because I noticed with, running my own photography business later in life that other people didn't have that experience, especially other women that look like me. So I really wanted to give them that experience that I was so fortunate to have.
And that's what you're doing with your courses as well. I mean, I'll come back to that in a bit. But so, how do you go about representing Disney with the photo editing that you do, with your look, the artistic work? I mean, how do you get to that? Do you have to get some sort of permission from Disney to use that sort of background? And if you can let me know about that.
So actually, because it's on Instagram and it's not for commercial use, it's kind of like fan art. Like Disney isn't going to be
Got you.
crazy,
Okay.
angry fan art. Like you don't want to
Okay.
be doing your fans. And a lot of people wanted me to sell the posters, and I'm like, no, like this is just for the art of it. Like this is even my
This is
copy,
just for fun, basically.
right?
Just to make it look good. I mean, someone can come to it and see what you've done, and then also see the message of what you're saying.
Right. And it also led to so much amazing opportunities. Like literally last month, I was on a Skype call or a live call just like this with a Disney producer. So, maybe hopefully some great things are in the future. This
That
series
is
also went super viral all around the world. I was able to grow my Instagram from like 7,000 to 70,000 just
Yeah.
this year because of that series. So that series changed my life. Like it
So
just
what was that series, if you can talk about that as well?
hmm Which part do you want to know about?
When you spoke to him about when you were on the live and you were speaking about the
Oh,
series
I
that
can't
you
talk
were,
about that yet.
yeah,
It's still under wraps, but hopefully I'll be sharing some good news very soon.
super. Um, you mentioned that you do courses.
Mhm.
How do you share the knowledge, what you've learned in your, I mean, it all started from selling seafood. That passion that came out with the artwork that you do came out with selling seafood. So how has that impacted you, and how do you want to share that impact with other people, that the way you're doing your courses? What do you teach them? What are the basics? What commitment does it take? What do you have to think when you're designing something like that? I mean, what is it that you share on these courses?
Okay, so I love this. I love this question so much because I really get to clear the air about everything. So
Absolutely.
a lot of people see my work, they see the work is like so crazy and fantastical and just so fantasy. And they think, oh, like I'll never be able to do that. Like that took 8 hours. Like I don't have 8 hours. I have a family, I have a job, I have all of these things. So a lot of people just have a lot of, what I've noticed from my students, because I've been teaching Photoshop for almost 3 years now. So
Wow.
yeah, so I
You've
was
had
glad.
students for 3 years now.
Yeah, so I was
Wow.
glad the Disney series was able to help me grow my audience and grow my clientele. So that really helped me with what I was already doing. Because in my actual work, I really sit down with my students. I say, hey, Photoshop is not what you think it is. It's not this crazy artsy fartsy thing. Really, it's such like a logical thing. It's very intuitive. And
And
like
it's like at a touch of a button, right? All you have to do is click a button now. You don't have to
and
draw
all I
anything. You don't have to paint anything. It's all there. You can just
Right. Like you don't have to draw, you don't have to be able to paint. You literally it's just problem solving. So essentially all you're doing is saying, hey, there's a problem with this photo. Maybe it's not enough light. Maybe they have a bit of acne. Maybe I want to transform the environment a little bit. So you all you're doing really is finding a problem and then being able to identify a solution, whether it's finding the right tool or the right adjustment. So it's really so much simple than
you
people.
touched upon a good subject out here. And I deal with properties. I take photos. You've seen my work, the photos, the videos that I post. Um, Share the top tools or the apps or the programs that you use in your photo editing so that we can learn today. I mean, what do you use?
Okay, also I want to address in the comments, I see all my ladies and stuff and from Brazil, so I want to acknowledge them because I love them so much. So,
Super.
but let me just break it down because it's not just Photoshop. It's a
Of
lot more
course.
to it
I mean,
because
there's, I mean, even on the iPhone, like right now, you find
yeah. So
so
I'm
many
all
apps.
the way down. Don't worry. So with Photoshop, really, it's more so like the more intense edits. But I do all of my own branding. I do my own logos. I build my website. I do all of these things. So what my combination of things that I love to use. I really love to use my phone lately because sometimes I'm traveling. You know, I also have a second home in California, and then I go back to Florida. So I like my phone. So what I really, really love are a couple apps. Y'all jot these down. So Canva, like literally like Canvas with
I'm gonna actually type it here so people know about it, you know.
yeah, so Canva, it's like Canvas but no S. So that is most so for your marketing materials. You know, think about your your if you had an instant like if we wanted to promote this live, we could have made a flyer for it. You can make your
Yeah.
own posts, things like that. So if you're not a graphic designer, I love to go to Canva and it's so
So is
so
it spelled Canva?
yep.
Okay. The next one,
I love Canva, and then I love PixArt. So it's literally
Pix.
like P I
Pix.
no PICS
Yep. Art.
and then art, one word. So
Okay.
that that kind of allows you to do a little bit of like Photoshop without the Photoshop. So you're able to add effects to your photos, to your videos. You can put stickers on it. You can really transform it into something great. So if I
Got you.
can't get to my computer to get on Photoshop, I get on there.
So we've got two. I want another three if you can.
So to make a pretty number, I would say, which other one do I love? I love, oh, Video Shop. Yes, Video Shop is the app that I use to edit all my videos.
Video shop.
Yeah, like Photoshop.
Yep.
So I
Okay. Got you. And
so
that's that. You use that to edit your videos. I mean, and they can be edited in the same way as Photoshop, and all by a click of a button on your phone.
yeah, so they're not as powerful as Photoshop, but they definitely get the job done for what they are. Like
Got you.
I live and die by those three apps.
Super.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna post that here
Okay, good.
and actually pin it.
Okay, good.
Super. So, um, what are the courses about? What can someone learn when they come to the course, and how long are these courses? I mean, is there like a variation, like someone comes to you for 3 weeks or a month or 6 months or a year? I mean, take us through that.
So right now I have one foundational course that I feel like it's all encompassing. Whether you're trying to just learn the basics of Photoshop or just learn, photo editing in general, this is
Okay.
going to take you to beginner to more advanced because I actually have a book out called Photoshopped and
And
it
is
covers,
that an ebook? I mean,
yes,
Audible book?
and it lays down my 5-step process to achieving flawless photos every time. So it takes you through all the basics, the photo editing, and then the video course portion of it. It gets really big. So it comes with, 2 ebooks, also a workbook. You get access to my Facebook group, Photoshop for Entrepreneurs. You really get such a great experience. And then all of the 5 steps, I break those
And if
5.
someone has a query or something on your Facebook group, do you answer them? I mean, directly or on the group?
Lord. And I also have other photographers and things in there. So if you can't get a direct exit from me, like if I don't
There are
know,
other people who would help you out.
yeah. So it's
So,
such a
guys,
great.
what's your Facebook group that you have?
It's called Photoshop for Entrepreneurs.
Okay, I'm
Mhm.
gonna type it, but I can't pin it then. Photoshop for entrepreneurs. Got it. Super. Um, right now, you're still doing these courses. I mean,
Mhm.
from 3 years ago, were you doing them remotely or were you doing them in person? So has anything changed due to what's going on today?
So this actually really helped me because I was a full-time photographer. I've just transitioned to. I was doing full-time photography, so I have 2 studios in Atlanta, and I was
Okay.
doing my Photoshop thing more as a secondary thing. But I made the very wise decision before all of this even started to transition to fully remote. So this, if anything, this pandemic has really opened up more people who may have not have thought of online courses. They're so open to it now, and it really put me at a great advantage because I sell ebooks and online courses.
And on a daily basis, you have these courses?
What you mean? Can you
I
clarify?
mean, do you have them regularly during the week? I mean, how many times
Oh,
during the week would you?
so what I did during the actual pandemic, so here in America, in my area, from March until about, I want to say July, we had a full lockdown. So I actually did the live courses. So I had 2 courses every single Sunday that I taught live.
Got
Now,
you.
a fully online and it's on demand. So literally on my Instagram profile, I have an Instagram shop and you can click it, buy it, and watch it at your will.
Super. I mean, it's been an amazing talk with you in terms of learning about how you've done it and what was your motivation behind it. I mean, do you think right now, coming so further in life and what you've done,
Mm.
firstly, do you think that you'd be better at neurology? Or now, say, if you have the
No,
chance to go back, would you do it again?
absolutely not. This course that I'm on is so incredible. It's just so incredible. It's no way I would have been able to have the international impact that I had otherwise. Like you're all the way in London and I'm in Atlanta, and this series and my work has really touched people all around the world. Like nothing compares, and I would not change it. I wouldn't do anything differently. If anything, I'm going full steam ahead with my own series. There's
I
nothing.
mean, do you think, I mean, let's say there are world renowned neurologists that
Mhm.
practice today, right? And I'm sure if you were one of them, you would also have that world class appearance. Like people would
But
come to you to come to you. But I think what we're trying to get at is that through Photoshop and through the way the world is running today, with all the social media and the fact that you can have your own personal brand, your own influence grown on social media to so many people so quickly has brought that closer in life than what you would possibly have to get to in neurology, right? I think
yeah, absolutely. Technology really fast forwards all of those things, and they really connect the dots much faster.
that is super amazing. But thank you so much for coming on here, sharing all that with us today. Before you go, Simone, I do this with all my guests that come on here. I mean, for the past, what, 8, 9 months now, we've seen negativity after negativity. I mean, I'm sure in the US as well,
Mhm.
people have lost their jobs, been made redundant, businesses. In London just last week, I was listening, 25,000 businesses have gone bust since.
Mhm.
Um, People are in need of some positivity in their life. And this is why I do this. This is why I do these live sessions with people to bring out that knowledge, to share that knowledge. Maybe someone might pick something up somewhere and they
Mhm.
might get that influence from it. Um, but what positive advice would you like to share with the world today so that they can take that on board and forget all that negativity behind them and move forward in life?
I would just tell them that everything happens in perfect timing. Like we may not be able to see clearly the future right now, and that's because we're in the midst of everything. But I really believe that hindsight and foresight will be able to have greater clarity of 2020 didn't actually set us back. It positioned us to go forward. So always just take that to your advantage, whatever downtime you may have. I know a lot of people are at home still. Take that time to either get the rest that you need, develop a skill. You really have the opportunity to really get the things that you truly desire in 2020. Keep the faith and keep going.
Super. I mean, if someone's looking for a skill and they think that they might just be good at photoshopping,
Hmm.
using their phone to their best advantage, give a shout out to Simone. But thank
Hmm.
you so much for coming on here, sharing all that knowledge and positivity with us today, Simone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Super. So that was Photoshop artist Simone. Hit her up. Simone7 is her Instagram ID. Go and check her out for whatever questions you may have regarding photo editing. But thank you to her. Thank you to all the viewers that tuned in. It's been good on this live session, and I shall see you again. Take care.